Have you ever woken up in the morning, looked at yourself in the mirror, and felt like some part of you was slowly fading away? Not just your hair getting thinner, or those lines around your eyes growing deeper, but something inside you, your spark, your edge, the very thing that once made you feel like a man. And what if I told you? It might all come down to just one overlooked hour each night, and a single spoonful of the right food. A quiet ritual that could quietly rebuild your strength, your intimacy, and your very sense of self. Stay with me, because by the end of this, you'll understand exactly why. I'm Dr. James. I've spent over 3 decades sitting across from men just like you. Husbands, grandfathers, veterans, retired teachers, and local business owners. All telling me the same hushed worry. Doc, I just don't feel like myself anymore. And you know what? Most of them had no idea it wasn't just about getting older. That there was something simple, almost embarrassingly simple, they could do right before bed, to help their body start repairing itself the way it did decades ago. In this video, I'm going to share stories of real men who found their spark again. Not through risky pills or complicated workouts, but through small, powerful changes they made in the quiet hour before they went to sleep. So if you've been lying awake at night, wondering if your best days are truly behind you, I want you to know, they're not. And by the time we're done, you'll have a gentle, proven blueprint to start feeling like yourself again. Ready? Let's dive in. Let me ask you something a little personal. When was the last time you woke up in the morning feeling truly strong? Not just awake, but energized, solid, maybe even a little playful with your partner still lying next to you? Because if that feels like a distant memory, you're not alone. And it's probably not for the reasons you think. Most men I see in my office just shrug and say, "Doc, I guess it's just my age, right? Happens to everyone." I wish it were that simple. Because the truth is, it's not just age. Yes, your testosterone dips about 1% each year after 30. Yes, your arteries may stiffen up a bit. But what most men over 60 don't realize is that the real thief of your vitality is how quietly your nitric oxide levels slip away. That's the tiny molecule that opens up your blood vessels, keeps circulation flowing, especially to the places that matter most for a man. It's what gives you those spontaneous moments of morning firmness you probably took for granted in your 30s and 40s. But by the time you're in your 60s, nitric oxide production can drop by as much as 50%. I remember Joe, a retired steelworker, 68, who came to see me. Big hands, tough as nails, but he could barely look me in the eye. He said, almost whispering, "Doc, I don't even feel like myself anymore. It's not just, in the bedroom. It's like my whole body's lost its edge. I get tired quicker. I don't even stand up as straight." Joe thought he was just getting old. But when we looked closer, it was years of tiny habits adding up. Skipping breakfast, grabbing salty takeout, falling asleep in front of the TV instead of letting his body rest properly. No wonder his circulation had slowed to a crawl, and his confidence with it. A small lesson here. It's not age that steals your strength. It's neglect. Little by little, year by year. And the good news is, that means you can start taking it back. Because while you can't roll the clock back to 30, you can absolutely start feeding your body in a way that helps it work like it's 30 again, at least in the ways that count most. And it all starts at night. When your body finally gets a chance to repair, rebuild, and set the stage for how you'll feel tomorrow. In fact, the hour before bed might be the most powerful opportunity you have to reclaim your manhood. Want to see how? Let me show you in the next part, because once you understand what really happens in that quiet hour, you'll never look at bedtime the same way again. Let me share a secret most men never hear from their doctors. Your body has a built-in repair shop that only opens after dark. And it's far more powerful than any pill you could ever take. You see, while you're busy living your day, working, running errands, dealing with stress, your body's just trying to keep up. It's fighting inflammation, repairing tiny tears in your blood vessels, rebalancing hormones like testosterone and growth hormone. But most of that heavy lifting doesn't happen while you're awake. It happens at night, especially in the hour right before you fall asleep and in the first few hours of deep rest. This is when your body ramps up production of growth hormone. This little miracle worker helps rebuild your muscles, repair artery walls, and even support the delicate nerves tied to sexual sensitivity. It's also when your testosterone gets its nightly top-up. Think of it like a construction crew that only clocks in when the lights go out. If you don't give them the right tools and materials before bed, they can't get much done. I once treated Leonard, a 69-year-old retired bus driver who'd started to feel like a stranger in his own skin. He told me, "Doc, I go to bed tired, wake up tired, and somewhere along the way, I lost that spark with my wife. I keep thinking, maybe this is just what getting old feels like." When I dug into his routine, I found he was doing what many men do, eating a light dinner around 6, watching TV until 11, then heading to bed on an empty stomach. No wonder his body couldn't rebuild. It was like sending those nighttime construction workers to the job site with no lumber, no nails, no cement. We made one simple tweak. Leonard started having a small, nutrient-rich snack about an hour before bed, something packed with slow-digesting protein, magnesium, and nutrients to fuel his body overnight. Within weeks, he wasn't just sleeping deeper. He woke up feeling rested for the first time in years, and yes, even surprised by some early morning firmness that he thought was long gone. Your best chance to reclaim your strength isn't in the morning. It's not at the gym. It's in that hidden hour right before bed, when you quietly prepare your body to heal while you sleep. And here's where it gets even better. Because there are simple, everyday foods, things you probably already have in your kitchen, that can feed your body exactly what it needs to rebuild your circulation, your muscles, and your manhood, all while you dream. In the next part, I'll show you the most surprising one. It's humble, cheap, and might just work better than a shelf full of fancy supplements. Let's dive in. It's a quiet sabotage. Little things you do each night without thinking, that slowly choke off your blood flow and rob you of the very thing that makes you feel like a man. And chances are, you've been doing them for years. Most men don't realize it, but the worst damage to your circulation doesn't happen when you're out mowing the lawn or lifting heavy groceries. It happens on your couch, in your favorite chair, or standing in your kitchen late at night. See, after 60, your arteries are already a bit stiffer. Your nitric oxide, that miracle molecule that relaxes blood vessels, is naturally declining. So your body's desperately looking for every opportunity to open those vessels up, let blood rush through, and keep things strong where it counts. But instead of helping it, most men unknowingly make it worse. Take Bob, a 67-year-old former contractor who came to see me last spring. He thought he was doing everything right. Cut back on heavy dinners to lose weight, tried to eat light at night, usually a sandwich or bowl of cereal, maybe a cookie or two. Then he'd unwind with a beer or a glass of wine to help him sleep. Sound familiar? But here's what was really happening inside Bob's body. Those refined carbs in the bread and cereal spiked his blood sugar. The alcohol gave him a short-lived drowsy feeling, but it also dehydrated him, constricted his arteries, and dropped his testosterone overnight. By the time his body finally tried to repair itself in deep sleep, there was nothing left in the tank. No magnesium to help relax blood vessels. No protein to rebuild. And a liver working overtime to process alcohol instead of supporting hormone balance. A lesson here. It's not always the big choices that steal your strength. It's the tiny habits, that second drink, that late-night snack with no real nutrition, that quietly pile up and drain your manhood drop by drop. Now, here's the beautiful part. Your body wants to heal. It's practically begging you to give it the right fuel before bed so it can go to work overnight, restoring your blood vessels, your muscles, even your drive. And the simplest way to start? It's with a humble food most men only think of for breakfast. In fact, in the next part, I'll show you why eating this one overlooked staple at night could do more for your manhood than any expensive supplement. Get ready, this might surprise you. Can one humble egg at night really do more for your manhood than a shelf full of expensive supplements? It sounds almost silly. Until you understand what's actually inside that little shell, and how your body puts it to work while you sleep. Most men were raised thinking eggs are strictly for breakfast. Scrambled, fried on Sundays, maybe a quick omelet before work. And we've all heard the old debates about cholesterol. But here's what almost no one tells you. A soft-boiled egg in the evening might be one of the best things you can do to restore blood flow, rebuild muscle, and even spark your bedroom confidence, especially after 60. Why? Because eggs are loaded with leucine, a powerful amino acid that tells your body to build muscle and triggers nitric oxide production. Remember, nitric oxide is the gas that widens your arteries, helping blood surge exactly where it needs to go. Eggs also carry a rich supply of vitamin B12, which sharpens nerve signals, making you more responsive and sensitive. And vitamin D, crucial for testosterone. But here's the key, soft-boiled or poached eggs are gentle on your stomach. So while you sleep, your body can slowly absorb these nutrients, drip-feeding your bloodstream and muscles all night long. I'll never forget Walter, a 68-year-old retired math teacher. A gentle, thoughtful man who still wore neatly pressed shirts to my office. He looked at me, half embarrassed, and said, "Doc, if eating an egg before bed could really change how I feel as a man, someone would have told me by now." I just smiled. "That's exactly what I'm telling you, Walter." He started simply, 2 soft-boiled eggs about an hour before bed. No drastic diets, no fancy powders. Just consistency. 10 days later, he came back in with a little sparkle in his eye. "Doc, I'm not getting up 3 times a night anymore. And, well, let's just say mornings are looking a lot more like they did 20 years ago. Sometimes it's the simplest foods, the ones your grandfather would have eaten without a second thought, that quietly deliver the biggest change. It's not about chasing magic pills or trendy supplements. It's about giving your body honest, whole nourishment that knows exactly where to go and what to do. And the best part? You don't have to stop with eggs. Because there's another single spoonful you can add before bed that's just as simple, yet works wonders on relaxing your arteries and setting the stage for deeper, steadier blood flow overnight. In the next part, I'll show you what it is, and why it might become your new favorite nighttime ritual. What if I told you that the quiet key to relaxing your arteries, to opening up blood flow right where you want it, could be waiting for you in a simple jar in your pantry, just one humble spoonful away? Most men think of almond butter as something their kids or grandkids spread on toast. Maybe a snack for hikers. Not exactly a manly food, right? But inside that creamy spoonful is a powerhouse of nutrients that can do more for your nighttime blood flow than most overpriced supplements. Here's how it works. Almond butter is loaded with magnesium, a mineral that signals your blood vessel walls to relax. Think of magnesium like a gentle hand on the shoulder of tense arteries, telling them, hey, loosen up, let the blood through. It's also rich in healthy fats, the very building blocks your body uses to make hormones like testosterone. Plus, it's a great source of arginine, an amino acid your body converts directly into nitric oxide. And unlike a candy bar or bowl of chips, almond butter doesn't spike your blood sugar. It helps keep it stable through the night, which means fewer disruptions to deep sleep, and fewer chances for your testosterone and nitric oxide levels to crash. Let me tell you about Carl, a 74-year-old widower who had just started dating again. He came into my office almost whispering, embarrassed to bring it up. "Doc, I'm seeing someone, everything else is great, but I'm worried I won't be able to keep up." We looked at his blood work. Everything was pretty normal for his age. But when I dug into his evenings, I found he'd usually skip any real snack, sometimes just nibble on crackers, then go to bed. I suggested the simplest change. 1 spoonful of almond butter before bed. Just give it 2 weeks. 2 weeks later, Carl walked back in with a grin I hadn't seen before. He sat down, leaned in, and quietly said, "Doc, I feel 20 years younger." And she noticed too. You don't always need a prescription or a drastic overhaul. Sometimes, it's as gentle as giving your body the right nutrients at the right hour. Just 1 spoonful can be enough to tell your arteries to soften, your blood to flow freely, and your confidence to return, all while you sleep. And we're just getting started. Because the next little fix doesn't just calm your blood vessels. It goes even deeper, soothing inflammation, balancing hormones, and guiding you into the kind of deep, restoring sleep that sets the stage for everything else. It's tart, it's rich, and it might remind you of simpler days. Ready to find out what it is? Let's explore it next. Imagine slipping into a deep, peaceful sleep. Your body quietly working to restore blood flow, rebuild muscles, and lift your mood, all from a simple, tangy glass of cherry juice. Sounds almost too gentle to be real, doesn't it? Most men over 60 think the only way to fix their sleep is with a bottle of pills. A little something to knock them out fast so they can at least get through the night. But here's what many don't realize. Sleeping pills often force your brain into a shallow, artificial sleep. They might keep you in bed longer, but they rob you of the deep, restorative stages, the very phases where your testosterone is replenished, your blood vessels repaired, and your nitric oxide gently rebuilt. So you wake up foggy, groggy, still worn down, and your circulation doesn't get the nightly tune-up it so desperately needs. Now contrast that with Tart cherry juice. This rich, slightly sour drink is packed with natural melatonin, which helps regulate your body's own sleep rhythms. It doesn't force you to sleep, it invites you into it. But there's more. Tart cherries are loaded with anthocyanins, powerful plant compounds that reduce inflammation and boost nitric oxide levels. That means while you're drifting off, your arteries are quietly opening up, blood is flowing more freely, and you're laying the groundwork for a stronger, more responsive morning. Let me tell you about Leonard, a 69-year-old retired bus driver who used to tease his wife about needing a crane to get him out of bed. Sleep had become a battle. He'd toss and turn for hours, then wake up feeling just as drained, with zero energy left for intimacy or even basic chores. When he came to see me, I suggested something simple. A small glass, about 8 ounces, of Tart cherry juice, half an hour before bed. Give it a week. 3 days in, he called my office. "Doc, I don't know if it's the juice or just dumb luck, but I slept through the whole night. Haven't done that in years." By the second week, he was waking up sharper, more playful, and yes, enjoying a little spark in the bedroom he thought was long gone. Nature often provides what lab-made pills can't. Not a forced sleep, but a guided journey into the kind of deep rest where your body truly heals, inside and out. And here's what's even better. While cherry juice is soothing your arteries and guiding you into deeper sleep, there's another tiny powerhouse that works alongside it. It's crunchy, mineral-rich, and might be quietly shrinking your prostate while you dream, helping you wake up fewer times each night. Want to know what it is? Let's uncover it in the next part. Can something as small and humble as a handful of pumpkin seeds really protect your prostate? And even help you stay asleep longer by cutting down those frustrating late-night bathroom trips? It sounds almost too simple, but sometimes, simple is exactly what your body craves. Most men over 60 start hearing about prostate health from TV ads or glossy supplement bottles promising the world. Saw palmetto, beta-sitosterol, fancy blends with hard-to-pronounce herbs. All claiming they'll keep your prostate from swelling up and pushing you out of bed 3 times a night. But here's what a lot of those bottles won't tell you. Tiny pumpkin seeds, yes, the kind you've probably scooped out at Halloween, are packed with natural zinc and phytosterols that directly support prostate size and function. Zinc is crucial for testosterone production. It's also heavily concentrated in prostate tissue, and helps keep it from becoming overly enlarged. Meanwhile, the phytosterols in pumpkin seeds work like gentle regulators, easing inflammation and balancing hormones that affect prostate growth. Let me give you a real example. Don was a 66-year-old retired engineer. Tall, soft-spoken, the type who always did everything by the book. He came in exhausted, not because he wasn't getting enough hours in bed, but because his sleep was constantly broken up by urgent trips to the bathroom. It's like clockwork, document. 2-3 times a night. And by morning, I feel like I've barely slept. We reviewed his labs, talked about his salt intake, his evening habits. Then I suggested something almost laughably basic. Every night, about an hour before bed, have 1 to 2 tablespoons of raw pumpkin seeds. You can mix them with a few banana slices if you like. Don gave me that skeptical engineer's look, but he tried it. 2 weeks later, he walked in with a rested face and a small grin. I don't know what's in those little seeds, Doc, but I'm only getting up once a night now. And I actually feel, well, a little more like myself again in the mornings. Sometimes nature gives us exactly what we need in the simplest packages. While your wallet might be tempted by shiny supplement ads, your body often responds best to honest, whole foods, rich in minerals and compounds it knows exactly how to use. And here's the extra gift. By shrinking down mild prostate swelling and keeping those nighttime bathroom trips in check, pumpkin seeds quietly make sure more blood can stay exactly where it needs to be overnight, nourishing your muscles, your arteries, and yes, even your manhood. But what if you could take it a step further? What if you could combine all of this with a nighttime food that gently rebuilds your muscles and keeps blood flowing steady for hours on end? That's what we'll explore next, and trust me, you probably already have it in your fridge. What if the quiet secret to waking up stronger, to feeling more solid, steady, and even more confident in the bedroom, was hiding in a simple bowl of creamy yogurt or cottage cheese, waiting to do its best work while you sleep? Most guys think building or keeping muscle is something that only happens in the gym. But the real magic, the time when your body knits new muscle fibers, repairs tiny tears in your blood vessels, and resets your hormones, is during deep sleep. That's when your body relies on a steady drip of amino acids to rebuild. And that's exactly where Greek yogurt and cottage cheese shine. Greek yogurt is packed with 2 types of protein. Fast-digesting whey that goes right to work, and slow-digesting casein that feeds your muscles for hours. Cottage cheese is even richer in casein. It digests so slowly that it delivers a steady stream of nutrients all night long, keeping your muscles, and by extension, your circulation, robust and ready. Let me tell you about Robert, a 70-year-old former high school football coach. He still had that firm handshake, that booming voice. But inside, he felt soft, a little defeated, like his body was slipping through his fingers. I love my wife more than ever, Doc, he said quietly, but sometimes I just can't keep up. My legs tire out, and well, you know. When I asked what he usually had before bed, he shrugged. Nothing. I thought eating late was bad. That's such a common myth. But for men over 60, going to bed on an empty stomach often means your body has no raw material to rebuild with overnight. I suggested a small bowl of Greek yogurt mixed with chia seeds, a sprinkle of cinnamon, and a few slices of banana. It sounded almost too easy, but Robert agreed. 3 weeks later, he came back in standing a little taller. I've been sleeping like a log, document. I wake up feeling sturdy again. Even my wife's noticed. Supporting your muscles at night does more than keep your arms from getting soft. Strong muscle fibers help pump blood, stabilize your hormones, and yes, keep everything working downstairs. It's not about heavy lifting or brutal workouts. It's about quietly feeding your body what it needs when it needs it most. And if yogurt and cottage cheese are like gentle overnight mechanics for your muscles, what if you could build the ultimate nighttime blueprint, a simple shake that pulls everything together? That's what I give my patients who need a full body rebuild while they sleep. And I'll show you exactly how to make it next. What if you could pour everything your body needs to rebuild? Your muscles, your blood vessels, even your confidence as a man. Into a single glass before bed, and let it quietly work its magic while you sleep? In my 30 years of sitting across from men just like you, I've learned this. Sometimes the body needs more than a tweak. It needs a gentle, comprehensive rebuild, a chance to lay down new muscle fibers, restore the lining of your arteries, and balance the very hormones that make you feel like yourself. And that's exactly what this simple nighttime shake does. It's not some trendy powder from a late-night infomercial. It's a carefully crafted mix of time-tested nutrients your body craves after 60. Here's what goes into it. Whey protein. This delivers fast-acting amino acids that jumpstart muscle and tissue repair as soon as you fall asleep. Collagen peptides. As we age, collagen becomes crucial. It strengthens blood vessel walls, supports joint health, and even helps the sensitive tissues tied to your most private functions. Leucine. This amino acid acts like a switch for muscle growth, telling your body, hey, keep building, even if we're not 25 anymore. Unsweetened almond milk gives healthy fats that stabilize hormones and magnesium to keep your arteries relaxed. A dash of cinnamon helps control blood sugar overnight so you avoid crashes that disrupt testosterone and nitric oxide levels. Let me share George's story. He was 75, a retired mechanic who'd always relied on his hands and strong back. But after a long recovery from surgery, he felt like a ghost of himself, thin, weak, embarrassed even to hug his grandkids too tightly. We started him on this shake every night about an hour before bed. Just 1 scoop whey, 1 scoop collagen, 3 grams of leucine, a cup of almond milk, and that sprinkle of cinnamon. Within weeks, George returned to my office looking, well, a little prouder. His shoulders squared up, his handshake was firmer, and he smiled when he said, "Doc, I'm finally starting to feel like the man I remember." Sometimes rebuilding your manhood isn't about trying harder. It's about giving your body the right raw materials, in the right combination, so it can quietly restore what time has worn down. It's not about chasing youth. It's about reclaiming function, confidence, and a sense of strength that lets you keep living life fully. Now, as powerful as this shake is, there's still one more piece of the puzzle. Because even men who eat right and take care of themselves often get stuck, frustrated that change feels slow. In our final part, I'll show you why, and reveal the missing link that makes all these efforts finally click into place. How long does it really take to start feeling like yourself again? Most men are shocked when I tell them. It's not months. It's often just days, if you give your body what it's quietly been asking for all along. I can't count how many times I've sat across from men in their late 60s or 70s, strong men, proud men, who looked at me with a weary sigh. "Doc, I've let myself go for years. Is it even worth trying now?" And my answer is always the same. It is never too late. Because your body never stops wanting to heal. It just needs the right signal, and the right fuel. Here's what typically happens when my patients start these simple nighttime changes: the eggs, the almond butter, the cherry juice, the seeds, the yogurt, the shake. By night 7. The first changes are often subtle but deeply important. Men tell me they're sleeping longer stretches, waking up less to use the bathroom, and feeling more rested in the morning. That's your body beginning to restore its nighttime hormone cycle, growth hormone, testosterone, nitric oxide, finally getting a chance to work undisturbed. By night 14. Energy during the day picks up. You might notice morning firmness returning, sometimes after years of thinking that was behind you. There's a quiet mental shift too, a sense of calm and focus that only comes when your body isn't fighting to catch up. By night 30. This is where men often sit back in my office chair, a little amazed. They're waking up feeling solid again, moving with steadier legs, needing fewer naps, and feeling that spark with their partner that makes life so much richer. Let me share James's story. He was 71, a retired postal worker who told me he'd given up hope of ever feeling like a man again. "Doc, I'm just tired. I don't need to run marathons. I'd settle for waking up next to my wife and not feeling ashamed. He followed the same simple steps I've shared with you here. By week 2, he was waking up fewer times a night. By week 4, he was quietly beaming, telling me he and his wife were reconnecting in ways they hadn't for years. Change doesn't always roar in like a storm. Sometimes it tiptoes back into your life, through deeper sleep, fewer nighttime interruptions, a steadier step, or a gentle morning pride you thought was long gone. It doesn't matter if you're 60, 70, even 80. Your body is still listening, still ready to respond when you finally give it what it needs. And before we finish, I want to leave you with one final, gentle thought, about why none of this is just about your body. It's about the man you still are, waiting underneath the surface. Let me show you what I mean in our closing words. So wherever you are tonight, maybe sitting at your kitchen table, maybe resting on the edge of your bed, wondering if all this really could work for you, I just want you to remember. You're not broken. You're simply waiting to be rebuilt, patiently, quietly, the way nature intended. All it takes is one small choice. One spoonful, one gentle glass, one tiny promise to yourself before bed that says, I still matter. I still want to live fully. And you do. If this video spoke to something inside you today, I'd be honored if you'd tap that like button. It helps this message reach another man out there who might be struggling quietly, just like you once did. Leave me a comment below, tell me which small change you'll try tonight. Or share your story. You never know who you might inspire by opening up. And if you'd like to help us keep making videos like this, there's a little donate link down below. Every gift, big or small, helps us spread hope, share these simple tools, and remind more men that it's never too late to start healing. Thank you for spending this time with me. Take care of yourself tonight, because tomorrow really can be a brand new chapter. I'll see you in the next video.